Hi there, welcome to a series of videos called English for Emerson. On this channel, we discuss a lot of topics, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about personal finance. This has been on my mind lately because I've been dealing with quite a few people who I meet that over the last few years that don't have any net worth. Well, they have zero or negative, but they don't have any wealth. What is wealth? It's assets that pay you to own them. That you have something that gives you income, that you don't have to work for it. You don't have to beg people. You don't have to get it from the government. You have wealth. You have money coming in without having to work, basically. A quarter of Americans who are adults have zero wealth. This is kind of scary. How do you get it? Because I'm telling you, when you get to be my age, I'm 55, it starts to feel like this is important. When you're young, you're in your teens and 20s and 30s, you don't even think about it, which is sad, but you should, because, life goes by fast. And when you see people who are older, who don't have any wealth, it is not good. It is not, they are broken by life and they're resentful toward themselves and others. And most of those people are kind of bitter. I don't know how else to say it. And maybe even pretty angry or just broken. How do you get some wealth? Well, there's a variety of ways to build it, but how much work do you really need to do? That's what this video is about. Listen to this, okay? I put this into the phone. Just listen to what the guy says, all right?
If you contribute $5 a day for 47 years, from age 18 to 65, into an S&P 500 index fund, you will have invested a total of $85, $775, assuming a historical average return
$85,000.
of 10%. Compound growth will leave you with roughly $1.5 million to $2.5 million by age 65. Here is how the numbers break down under...
That's just artificial intelligence, okay? I put in, if you started putting in $5 a day from the day you turned 18 until you turned 65, every single day, into the S&P 500, which is very easy to do on Robinhood or Cash App, to just put in a deposit of $35 a week and buy the S&P 500. 7 days a week, $5 a day, okay? If you would have put in over the course of time roughly $85,000 in those 47 years of purchasing. Because of compound interest and assuming that historical norms remain in place, 10% growth a year when you have dividends and capital gains and stock appreciation, you would end up with over $1 million. And if it was 12% growth a year, you'd end up with over $2 million. It's compound interest. Most people can put aside $5 a day and make that contribution day after day after day, and from the time they are 18 until 65. It's not easy. It is not easy. It's just discipline. But a fortune can be accumulated doing this. And most people are spending $5 a day on stuff they don't really need. Some people I know are living literally hand to mouth, meaning everything that they make, they're just putting into rent and groceries and bills. Especially people who have been through a bad divorce or have had illness. I understand. There's no judgment here for people who have had a difficult situation. I have not done this in my life, and I'm okay, but I just want to make this video for my son and for anybody else out there. When you're young, when you're in your late teens and 20s and 30s, it doesn't seem like it's important. But I'm telling you, if you can go out even, and do a little extra job and make $35 a week, like doing an Uber ride or I know it's terrible. DoorDash doesn't pay crap, but if you put that $35 a week in religiously your entire life, you are going to retire a millionaire, barring, major illness or catastrophe. And you don't have to have that bitterness and resentment that so many people have who don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. I really encourage my son and anybody else listening, especially who's younger, to start the practice of saving a little bit every day instead of buying that overpriced coffee or junk food or, subscription that you don't really need to some random thing online. I've spent so much money over the years on storage units to store junk I didn't really need. It's not good. And I've been blessed, but for many people, this is the difference between having a generational wealth and having a comfortable retirement and being totally broke and bitter at the end of life. Please get a Cash App on your phone and start the process of putting in $35 a week and buying the S&P 500 SPY ETF like every Monday and just putting it in, and don't touch it. Hopefully you can contribute to an IRA with that money so you don't get taxed on it, and get rich. It is so nice to not have to worry about money when you're older. And these people who get into their 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond that are really broken financially, it is heartbreaking. And it doesn't have to happen to you. You can be rich with just a little bit of discipline and some stick-to-itiveness. And that's all I got to say on this edition of English for Emerson. Bye-bye.